Welcome to Crushgasm, the podcast dedicated to the highs and lows of crushes. From their first to their worst, we're going to cover them all with a cascade of characters, including our guest today, a multi-talented dynamo, Erica Wiederlight, a traveler, actress, sexual empowerment and dating coach, and entrepreneur who is here to talk not only about We the Light's one-on-one VIP coaching program and free ebook, but also her crush on someone who is far from a drag, and that is Miss Alyssa Edwards. Erica, how are you?
So good. That was truly the best intro ever. I was like, ooh, I love this intro. I love it.
Thank you. Someone said they felt like they were on like a late night talk show.
I did, truly. I was like, oh my God, I'm taking you everywhere. This is amazing.
I know you get to like come through the curtains, like we have a band. Have like a band.
I'm like a dynamo. I love this intro. And it goes very much with our drag theme of the evening. You know what I mean? I'm like, this is fabulous.
Yes, drag, it's a show. It's a show.
Yes, it is. It sure is. I love it. I'm so good. I'm so happy to be with you today.
Yeah, so you said you initially got to know Alyssa Edwards watching her Netflix series, Dancing Queen. What sparked your interest in even watching that show?
Yeah, so as you said in my bio, I also have an acting background, and one of my friends that is a dancer casually was like, oh my God, you have to watch the show. And I watched it and I was like, I love this person. So I was aggressively, unfairly rooting for Alyssa Edwards on Drag Race before I didn't give anyone a shot on her season because I was, I kind of did it backwards. Like I did Dancing Queen first and then I did RuPaul. So my blinders were on and Alyssa could make no mistakes in my eyes.
I see, like, that is weird. A lot of people, they start Drag Race first or they discover maybe a later season and they go backwards. But because the queens have gotten so famous, well, some of them, people have gotten to discover them in new ways. But how long did it take you to fall in love with Alyssa on Dancing Queen and then go back and like watch Drag Race? And did you start with her season?
I am a Virgo, so I'm very... no, the Cliff Notes is no. I was like, if I'm going to commit to RuPaul's Drag Race, I am going full in. And I started with season 1 with the heinous. Yeah, I was like, why do people love this? Like, what is this lighting? What is this show? But I went in with season 1. I was like, I have to commit. I have to understand the culture. Like, I have to be in. So I didn't start with Alyssa's season. Yeah, but I did totally backwards, starting with Dancing Queen. Like everyone's like, wait, everyone knew Alyssa by the time this show came out, but that's how I loved her, you know what I mean? And that's how I loved, everything about her. I was so about Alyssa Edwards by the time I got to RuPaul's.
So did your crush on her kind of evolve from watching her try to win the crown on Drag Race, like seeing her in a whole new light too? A whole light.
Totally. And I also felt like a mom. Like I already feel the anxiousness of RuPaul, like sitting in front of the TV and you're like, who's going to win this week? But with Alyssa, because I loved her so much on Dancing Queen. I mean, the talent, I can go into that, like the talent that she has, like for dance and, for the kids. And I just can't get over how funny she is. Like, she makes me cackle out loud. So I was like a mom, like a pageant mom watching RuPaul. Because I was like, listen, no, don't do that. Or like, yes, so I was like very invested in her journey. And like when she did well, I feel like I did well. Like, I don't know why, but I feel like a kindred spirit with this human.
That's how it is with your favorite queens. When you watch, you definitely pick a favorite, one or two at the beginning, and it feels very personal when they do bad or good.
Yes, I'm like, Alyssa, stop.
Like, why did you? It's like, I know nothing about makeup either. I just want to put that out there. I don't even know how to apply makeup, but I'm like, oh, why did you do that?
I know, it's so good. I saw a quote recently, I don't know if you saw this, but I'm going to totally butcher it, but it was to like the RuPaul fans. And a lot of people were saying like, because we're so invested in the show, so many people feel like they can do drag. And the queens are like, really? You know what I mean? Like, this is like, because this is such an art form, and they opened it up to, not even America. I mean, the show is all over the world, but they opened it up to all of us. So we, like you said, we're like, oh, you could have done your makeup better, girl. And it's like, it's such, I mean, those queens are fully queens because what they have to do is I am so endlessly inspired by the talent. I mean, it's talent across the board. It's crazy, the level of artistry.
Yeah, it is. I think drag has gone from something in the 90s that we knew RuPaul for. It was like, okay, this definitely an art form. Like now that we have seen more of it, you see the fashion, the makeup, the performances even, which Alyssa is a lip sync assassin. So I have to give her flowers for that. But so Alyssa, she is one of the fan favorites, no denying that, and one of the most quoted and recognizable queens from the franchise. But for you, like Dancing Queen, you said she was funny and how she just like presented herself. What else about her kind of stood out for you that you're like crush mode?
I think the fabulousness. I think the dedication, the humor. I mean, like even the, you know, like just like I mean, everything is just so perfect. And what's so funny is I don't know if, okay, this is a secret, but I don't know if I would have loved her as much just going into, I would have, you know, like I would have loved her just watching RuPaul's, but I think setting me up with the background, like seeing her family story, I was like, I'm invested in this person. And that actually happened with me with Trixie Mattel. Like seeing Trixie on the show, I'm like, God bless, you're great, not my favorite. And then I saw Trixie's Netflix special and I was like, I love you as a person because you saw her life story, you know? So I think I would have loved Alyssa just if I knew Alyssa from RuPaul, but the Dancing Queen with like, you know, the personal family stuff and, you know, how hard, you know, that dance studio, like I think that gave so much context that sometimes we don't see on the show. You know, like sometimes we do, they do go deep and sometimes it's, you know, people are getting red and we don't have that, like that depth sometimes. So I think that's what gave me the full range of really loving Alyssa.
Yeah, and like you were saying, like maybe you would have liked her on her season. I definitely did. She was one of my favorites during her season because I think with Jade Jolie and the back rolls thing, and her, like, you know, that the tension between her and Coco Montrese was great.
Yes.
But I agree with Trixie. I wasn't that big of a fan of Trixie on the show, but I started watching like the pit stop and I fell in love with her that way. So it definitely goes, but it's like, do I love you here or there? But, you know, can't win them all on the show.
It's true. And it's so interesting when they do these other side projects, you know, and I took that with Alaska too, because everyone's like, you're gonna love Alaska, and I was like, I don't get Alaska. And then when Alaska came off RuPaul and started doing her own thing, I was like, I love Alaska. You know, like you said, like it sometimes you get it right away and it clicks, and sometimes it takes their own projects or stepping away from like the competition to you know, get them and to love them. You know what? This is a sidebar, but I feel like, I mean, we have to pay homage if we're having this conversation, but she's so fresh, but I love Michelle Visage. Like I would pee if she judged me. Like I'd be so scared, but I'm like, she just adds such a like specific flavor to the show.
Yeah. It got so much better when she joined the judging panel as well.
Yes, I was like, hallelujah, thank God. And I love the sass. Their judges are always, and when you go back to the older seasons, you're like, oh my God, it's crazy. Like Khloe Kardashian, Lisa Rinna. I'm like, what's happening? Like this is, I think I would want to be a celebrity just so I could be a guest on RuPaul's Drag Race.
I literally like that, and like judging cooking shows. I'm like, that's the only reason to be famous, to be on Drag Race as a guest judge, and then to go and like eat food for free.
Truly, I'm like, hi, this is the only reason why I'm gonna be famous. Please put me as a judge on these particular shows.
Yeah, like once I get on Drag Race as a guest judge, then I'm just gonna like retire and I don't need to do anything anymore because life goal achieved.
It's so true. That is truly my dream, just to be a judge on that show. It's so good.
Would you want to be a judge on like a regular season and see them fresh and new, or go for an all-stars?
Ooh, that's such a good question. That is such a good question. I mean, both. I mean, there's such, I'm like, can I say that? There's so many pros and cons. I feel like if you're starting new, it's like you get to love them and like meet them and, you know, be like have fresh eyes, but it's like, ooh, if you're doing a second round, you already know people, you know what I mean? So I'd be thrilled to do either, honestly. I think it might be harder to do like an all-stars because you already have like preconceived notions of these people, you know what I mean?
That's true. You kind of go in with a personal favorite, so you might not, and then you might want to be their friend, so you don't want to judge them too harshly.
Right, right, exactly. You're like, I might want to hang out with this person. I can't be.
I'd be like, no, Shea Coulee, you're so cool. This look, she could look worse. I'd be like, you look so great because I want to be Shea Coulee's friend.
I know now. I'm like that. We're talking about the show. I'm like thinking about like, wow, I love so many people. Love Latrice Royale. You know who I didn't like at first? I was like, I am not a fan. And then All Stars, Manila. I loved Manila through All Stars, but didn't love her in her season.
Manila is so great. She's one of the most beautiful too.
Oh my God, angelic.
Another couple that I like for me, like my crush 100% out of drag is like Brooklyn Heights and Pearl. They're just like these gorgeous men. And I think when they're like in drag, my crush is more like admiration. Like, oh my God, they're so pretty. I wish I could look like that. And that's when it's like Monet, Bob, Heidi N Closet, things like that. So for you, where does your crush on Alyssa fall? Like more of the guy side, the drag side?
Oh, drag. And you know who else is I have to mention, because I feel like I also am a very big fan of this person, is Alexis Mateo. I love Alexis. I have to throw it out there too. But yes, exactly. I'm like, oh my God, I love Alexis so much. So Alexis and Alyssa are definitely drag crushes, I would say. But I'm trying to think about out of drag, who do I love? I'm like, can RuPaul count for that one? Yeah, right?
From the show, in drag, out of drag, and those beautiful suits. Oh my God,
so good. So good. Yeah, I think Alexis and Alyssa are definitely my... You could tell I like apparently have type. Like, I think I like more of the froofy, stereotypical drag look. You know what I mean?
Pageant. You're a pageant queen, lover.
I know. I didn't realize until I'm saying it now. I'm like, oh, I'm such a basic pageant queen.
I mean, there's new school drag, old school drag, pageant, this, that. I mean, it's evolved so much, and it's wonderful to see all the different types.
It's amazing. And I'm so I'm so glad that they don't just showcase one type of drag. It's so phenomenal to watch. Like, wow, to watch all these different types. It's really, 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 really cool and amazing to watch.
It is amazing. And what's also amazing is, like yourself, drag performers are actors. They're traveling all the time. They are entrepreneurs. Do you think your love of drag maybe stems from having those little similarities to these queens?
Oh, 120%. That's why I'm like, I feel a spiritual connection, and I get it, especially with acting is one thing, like, duh, you know what I mean? Because, like, of course, because but even with the business, it's like, I feel connected to them, in a way, because it's like, we're our own show, even if you have a team, you're your own show. And whether it be putting out content, working with clients, leading a retreat, like, you are, again, even if you have a team, that's fabulous, but you are the product. And so I think that's why I so understand them from an acting perspective, and also from a business perspective. I like totally get it. And it's, I really resonate with the lifestyle.
I mean, they are hustlers of like branding themselves, getting their name out there, working day in, day out.
Yep.
So, much respect.
I mean, exactly. And to just get on the show is like huge, like I have some friends that, are in the New York drag scene, and it's like, they are pounding I'm like, are you exhausted? I mean, every night working 2 to 3 gigs. And then it's like, all night, and then they wake up the next day and they're on social media, and and you don't get paid a ton from that. So it's like, it's just to be noticed enough to get on the show is such, oh my God, such a, celebration.
Yeah, and they don't just bring these like extravagant looks and like talent to the show. Like you said, they go deep on this show. Like every time they sit down to do their makeup, we know that those sad stories are going to come.
Yep, it's true.
And you've like been open about your own struggles with anxiety and loving your body and self-doubt. Do you feel like when you watch the show and you see these queens like go through their insecurities and all that, that it kind of is like therapeutic to watch because you're like, I'm not alone in this?
I'm upset. Yes, that's one of the reasons why. I think that's why we keep coming back. You know, like I think if they didn't have that, I think it would have lasted a few seasons and we would have been like, this is fabulous, love it. But there's meat to it. You know what I mean? And it's like you relate to these people. So it's like, it's fabulous. They're talented. Oh my God, you know, wow, you know, they're beating their face and they're getting, you know, readings and, you know, there's such entertainment level, but because there's such meat, it keeps us coming back. One of my favorite things is the challenges with like straight, you know, like cis men, like these, you know,
the makeovers?
Yes, because I love these guys or these girls, whatever, that are like totally not in this world, and they have like experience, like, oh my God, I never, you know, wow, I'm learning. Like I love when people that are not in this world come in and they learn from the queens. It's like my favorite. I'm like, yes, like I get such a high from it. I love it.
Do you, other than the makeovers, are there any like when they're getting ready moments, like those heartfelt, that like stick out for you in your mind?
Ooh, that's a good one. I think, well, yeah, I'm trying to think. There's so many. I'm thinking of like, I'm scrolling through all of the oh my God stories. And you know, the crazy thing is that so many people, you know, why I love it is sometimes someone will share a story and then someone's like, oh my God, me too, or a different flavor of that, but similar. You know, I can't pinpoint an exact moment, but I just love that there's so much vulnerability on the show. Like it just, like you said, it's like, it makes us all, it feels relatable then. And it's, yeah, you want to watch it.
I think for me, because it's just fresh in my mind from All Star 6, was Scarlett saying that she actually went to a show of Ginger's and like got a picture and like Ginger's like, I remember that, and they showed the picture. I was crying. I was like, yeah, it's like, oh my God.
Oh.
Yeah, this show always has the ability to make I cry at a lot of things, but this show definitely is like, oh, here it comes. Yep.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I'm
Simone like talking about, you know, anyone like the small towns where they were just kind of picked on and stuff. Oh, that always gets me, because I think like I would have been your friend.
I know. I so agree. Yeah, there's so many ones that you're like, oh, like that hit me so good. It's such a good show. It's not even a show. It feels like bigger than a show. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'm like, doesn't even feel like a show. You know, I love when my I have a different, how do I say this? Lots of different groups of friends. And from theater and from this work, a lot of them are eccentric like me. You know what I mean? And then I have also some other friends that are more, I guess, normal. You know what I mean? Like just are more like
straight-laced.
Yes, straight-laced. Exactly. So when they're saying, oh, should I watch that Drag Race? I'm like, yeah, like it gives me, I feel seen, even though I'm not a queen. Like when they watch it, I'm like, thank you. You understand now a part of my soul. You know what I mean?
My nephew had this like little game on his phone that was like, you have to pick outfits and then you walk a runway, and then like the people online like, I'll vote, and he's like, you'll like this one, Aunt Kendra. It's like Drag Race.
I love that so much.
Kind of fun. So we're gonna, speaking of fashion, we're gonna go to a lighter aspect of the show, and that is the looks.
Oh, yes.
Any of Alyssa's come to mind on the show that you're just like, damn, girl, yes.
Ooh, I can't even think of that many of her looks. I know that's horrible to say. I feel like she has some great looks. Okay, I'll say this. I feel like I don't always love Alyssa's looks, but I like, because I'm like, girl, what happened? But her face and hair and makeup is always beat to the gods. You know what I mean? Like, hey, Alyssa, I'm like, sometimes, I'm like, oh, that look is interesting. Like that dress, Alyssa. But the makeup, the hair, like no one could beat that makeup. You know what I mean? Like it is crisp every time.
We must say she was on an earlier season where the looks, they didn't have to be as wild as they've become. Like now,
True.
I mean, Gottmik was showing up like at the Met Gala every week.
Right. Exactly. And that's why, and I think she's evolved too. It's like you said, she was on an earlier season. Now, if you look at Instagram and stuff, you're like, okay, like you've evolved a lot. You know what I mean? So no shade to her. I do enjoy a lot of her looks, but I think you can't compare the makeup and the hair just because I'm like, oh, it's always so good.
And you also mentioned Latrice Royale, Alexis Mateo, and Alaska, some of your other favorite queens. So we're going to play a little game we like to play around here that everyone knows. Fuck, marry, kill.
Oh,
with just Latrice, Alexis, and Alaska.
Oh, this is horrible. I feel like I'm going to get so much pushback for this because I feel like everyone loves Alaska. But I think she has to take a nap. I think I have to kill her.
All right. Bye, Alaska.
I feel bad. I'm dead. That's hilarious. Bye. But love Alaska. God bless her. She just didn't make the top 2. I feel like this. Fuck Alyssa. I feel like she'd be wild.
Oh no, Alexis.
Alexis. Oh, Alexis. Okay, I think same thing. I think that still works. I feel like we get a lot of bams in the bedroom. I feel like Alexis, and then Latrice. Gotta marry Latrice. Well, I say that. Okay, I feel like marry Latrice, but also I have to throw us back to, I think it was All Stars with Alexis, and it was like an American theme, and she wore her, was it like her partner's, oh my gosh, like army uniform. And that I was like, and then we heard her love story and like that it didn't go well, and that broke my heart. So I feel like Alexis is a softie, but I still think I'd keep Alexis in fuck and Latrice marry. I think I would.
Solid choices.
Right? I feel like it makes logical sense.
So back to Alyssa. If you could live happily ever after with Alyssa Edwards, what do you think your guys' life would be like?
Oh my God. It would be I think it would be fabulous. I think it would be wild. As you can tell, I think we both have very loud personalities. I would love to work at that dance studio with her. Not to dance, but I would love, oh my God, we'd have the ball. I think it would be lots of glitter, lots of laughs. Like, I think we just would have the best. I'm like, oh wow, I want to live life with Alyssa Edwards. So that just sounds ideal. So I think it would be a fabulous life.
Are you watching Alyssa's team on America's Got Talent?
Okay, I'm actually not. I just started seeing on Instagram, like, okay, I should probably follow this, but I am up to date on the Instagram stories of hers with this. But I need to get on that bandwagon.
Yeah, I was like, oh wow, okay, but I don't have cable, like basic cable like that, so.
I know, that's why I was like, oh, love it, but then I like wasn't too committed. You know what I mean? Like I was like, I'm cheering you on from here.
So we'll talk a little bit more about you. So while Alyssa coaches dance, you coach people in regards to sex, love, and relationships. Did you learn anything new about coaching while watching Dancing Queen?
Ooh. Well, not Dancing Queen, yes, but I almost feel like RuPaul's was extremely. So 2 things. RuPaul actually really helps me with acting. Because I'm like, it inspires you to be like, girl, get up there, do the best audition, so I always have that RuPaul, like, okay, give the best audition you could give, go in there, have fun. And same with coaching. I think what it's helped me with is almost like empathy and like holding really good space for people and seeing people. And what I love about drag is it's polishing. I always say clients come in and they're this diamond. They always were a diamond. I just help them remove some of the dust. You know what I mean? They were always a diamond. They were always special. They were always worthy. I'm just there to mirror back like, hey, you're amazing. Let's remember who you are. And in some ways, I feel like on a much smaller scale, that's similar to the work of drag. You know what I mean? Like, especially it's just such an inspiring place to be. So I think in some ways, I'm like a baby RuPaul for my clients.
Well, baby
and tough
RuPaul.
love.
Well, baby RuPaul, yeah. You started as like a spiritual coach, but what led you to move in the direction that We the Light is now?
Yeah, for many reasons. A lot of times, I was like, oh, I could help change your life. And people are like, what does that mean? Like people are like, I don't know what that means. And so I needed a more specific thing. And what's so funny is I was like, I don't feel like I'm done. Like I was teaching more traditional life coaching and it felt good. I was helping people, but I was like, there's something more. And I kept getting like the message, like, it's okay. Like, keep doing this and it's good. The path will kind of, unveil itself to you. And it did. And I'm really grateful that I have this very, specific niche, but as like everything's connected. So they may come in the door and talk about relationships, but we end up also talking about money or sexual empowerment, but we also then talk about dating, because everything is interconnected. So I feel very grateful that I got to do more of the traditional life coaching and now this.
Yeah. And so as far as the one-on-one sessions go, people get like a lot of stuff over like a 6-month period. You do like Zoom meetings, calls, unlimited access as well. Can you give us like a bit of a recap of what people can expect if they get one of these sessions?
Yeah. So what I'm offering now is if people are interested, it's free. So that's great, and no strings attached, no commitments. You don't have to feel bad. No. But we hop on a call for 60 minutes. We kind of do a baby session. We talk about your desires. I may give you a few tools. And then we see if we're a match to work together. Not everyone's like a match, not everyone loves my personality, or maybe I can't specifically help you. So I'm not just going to say, yes, let's work together, so we kind of go on there and see if we're a good match. If we're a good match, how the program works, like you said, it's 6 months. It's a very intense container because like you said, you have unlimited access to me. So it's a very intense container. We meet almost every week. You have unlimited access to me. And I make sure by the end of our time together, you really get what you want and more. I'm like very obsessed with clients leaving and feeling like that was a great investment. Like I want them leaving and feeling like that was worth my time, that was worth my money, that was worth my energy. And I want them to have so many tools in their toolbox. I'm very, very committed to my clients getting all that they desire.
The commitment shows because you also have a free ebook available for everyone. It is called From Perfectionist to Pleasure Expert. Where'd the inspiration for this one come from?
Yeah, well, again, hopping on the phone with someone could be very aggressive. You know what I mean? Like you might be like, I don't know. I don't even know what I want to talk about. So I wanted to play. I know sometimes I want to get to know someone, but I'm like not dying to, maybe hop on the phone just yet. Sometimes I'm like, yes, I'm ready to jump on. Sometimes I'm like, I need some cushion. So I wanted to make a safe space for people that are like, okay, I want some tools right now. Like I want to start these tools right now. Maybe I'll integrate them for a few weeks. And if it feels safe, I'll talk to her. If I don't, I don't. But it's just a very quick ebook. I just wanted to get right to the point with tools, tips and techniques, I should say, that help you start to implement this, pleasure stuff and the joy and being in the body. I just wanted to give a very tangible tool to people for free that's just right to your email. And it's a very quick read and it's very easy, digestible tools because we all deserve to feel good. So I wanted to make this accessible for everybody.
Well, people, you can go to her website, subscribe, and then bam, it'll be in your inbox. You also started out as a public speaker as well. Do you still partake in these type of events and whatnot? I know it's been a little hard over the past year maybe to do in person, but anything like that?
Yes, I do. I love that. That's because of the acting background. This is like my sweet spot. You know what I mean? Like if I could I love working with clients, but if I could do 80% speaking events, I would be thrilled because it's acting, in a way it's, you're getting in front of people. So the Cliff Notes is I love public speaking.
Well, not all of us do, but that's great that you do. See, we need those type of people in the world. So I can just sit in the background and watch. I'm not if I liked getting up in class and doing it, but only if I was 100% prepared. I practiced all day and all night for it. But if it was spur of the moment, I was like, no, God.
But you're so good at this. So you're so good.
It's practice.
All right. Well, that's fair.
So we have these 6-month sessions and the ebook. Can you tell us what else you have coming up?
Yeah, I have some, like I said, some speaking gigs here and there. Obviously right now it's a little rusty because of COVID. So we're trying to make everything really work with the COVID times over Zoom and doing everything digitally. But I feel blessed because the 6-month program is kind of what I'm focusing on right now, at least for till the end of the year. Like I really want to keep ushering in people that feel like a yes. And then from there, in 2022, we might move into group programs and all that. But right now, I really want to focus on people that are aligned with the 6-month program, get them in. And like I said, then maybe ushering into group programs and, other spaces that I've been looking to dip my feet, if you will.
Well, can you tell everyone where they can find more information about We the Light and these amazing programs?
Yes, I would love to. So if you're interested, please come get one, both, the ebook, the free session. Like I said, it's no pressure at all. If you feel inspired to, grow in empowerment, dating, love, or just want to be inspired, might as well get these goodies. And you can get these goodies at my website, which is www.wethelight.org. Or you can find me on social media, Instagram in particular, at WeTheLight_LLC. Again, the website is www.wethelight.org. Oh, I've totally forgot. The other thing I'm doing is I'm having a podcast launch in October. So everyone, if you like, obviously you guys are podcast people. So if you want to hear a podcast about all the different things, it's free content. You can get the juice. Definitely make sure you're on wethelight.org, sign up, and then that way you can get in with the podcast.
That's amazing. Well, Erica, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to me about your Drag Race Crush. And everyone, you can find all of Erica's information below. And until next time, keep crushing it.